hello. Good evening. Hope everyone's doing well. We have ourselves a bit of an update here for y'all on the tropics and just the general weather up here. Let me go ahead and get everything set up real quickly, you guys. Just gotta put some stuff here and we'll be good to go. But anyways, everybody, good to see you. Hope everyone's having a beautiful, beautiful day. So we have a new tropical storm. That's the big news of the day that I do want to talk about here. Actually, I'm watching a few storms over here in Ohio, too. We got a little bit of severe weather popping through. But anyways, hope everyone's doing well. What's up, Bunsy? Good to see ya. Saying hello, Andrew. Hello, my friend. What's up, Dixie? Saying hi from Edmond. Oh, is it Edmond? I think it's Edmond, right? Oklahoma. Good to see ya. What's up, Jill? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you guys. Hope everyone's doing good. So, anyways, we got not really a cone, but a bubble. We got a new system that we're watching. So it is a tropical storm. It is Tropical Storm Melissa. Tropical Storm Melissa has formed today. So that's actually that system that we've been monitoring, for the last couple of days here. And right now we are sustained at 50 miles an hour, and we have a pressure down to 1,003 millibars. And the system is expected to become a hurricane. You can see on the track here, the system's, there's a lot of uncertainty still. The system's really going to be stalling and, really slowing down. So that's going to be a bit of an issue, because first of all, that makes it insanely hard to forecast. But, second of all, it also makes it to where, it can drive a lot of rain and, cause a huge, huge flooding concern. What's up, Twilight? Good to see ya. Saying, hey, everyone. What is up, my friend? Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, so, it looks like it's going to remain a tropical storm for the next couple days. It's not really until we approach the 25th. So the 25th is when the Hurricane Center has the system becoming a hurricane. You can see right there, this is, kind of right around 2 p.m. on the 25th. Wind speeds around that time will be sustained right around 75 miles an hour. We'll be gusting into probably right around 90 miles an hour or so. Pulling up the spaghetti models. Yeah, you can see there's just such a big spread, dude. I mean, look at that. Some models have the system going far out to the east. Some have it going far out to the west here. It's just very, very hard to tell right now. But we do got some watches in place. Let me actually bring up the Hurricane Center here. Oops. Accidentally hit my phone there. But yeah, let me bring up NHC. We'll see what we got going on here. So let's bring it up here. Okay, so this is it. So once again, Melissa, it's a new storm here. But yeah, we do got some hurricane watches and tropical storm watches in effect here. Okay, so you guys see, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit more. There you go. So that's the latest cone. You can see here is Dominican Republic. Here's Haiti. So in southern Haiti, on the southern coastline, we have that pink. That is the hurricane watch. So that is telling us, hey, hurricane conditions are possible. They're not yet guaranteed, but they are definitely possible. So keep an eye out there for that. And then, of course, we have Jamaica. The entire, area of Jamaica is under a tropical storm watch. Once again, meaning, hey, there could be some tropical storm activity here in the near future. Just monitor it. So we do need our folks in Jamaica and Haiti to start preparing for the system. You guys need to start watching out for it. It wouldn't hurt to, start stocking up, maybe getting some food and water. Make sure it's non-perishable, given, power outage concerns and stuff like that. And, like I said, one of the big concerns on this storm here is actually going to be the rainfall. Look at this. Here's a little bit of an example of some of the rains that we could see. Dominican Republic, here you can see we have this orange, which that lines up to about 8 to 12 inches, which is quite a bit, as you could say. Definitely quite a bit. Let's see here. Anna says that is the wildest track. It is, yeah. It's a very difficult storm because of its track. There is so much uncertainty right now, still, but One thing we do know about slow-moving storms is that they bring a lot of rainfall. So we'll definitely have to really, really be looking out there for that. But yeah, I mean, the cone, you can see it's not really a cone. It's more of a circle. This kind of reminds me of the way cones used to be back in like the early 2000s. This is like, they used to be really fat because the models were they were never as good as they are now. But, they used to be really fat, and that's what it kind of reminds me of. But the reason it's this way is because of how slow it's going to move, and just, it wouldn't take much. It would take a light breeze to move the storm. So, let's see here. Is it going to sit there and grow? So it is expected to pull a little north, over the next several days. I mean, but you can look at this here. I mean, within a 12-hour gap, I mean, you can just see how much it moves. I mean, 12 a.m. on Friday, 12 p.m. on Friday. This is 12 hours, and it only moves that much. So you see what I'm saying? So the system is moving extremely slow, which is going to allow for the system to just continuously dump a lot of rain in the region. What's my opinion on the 3I Atlas, our current interstellar visitor? So I've heard some stuff about it. That's not, really meteorology, but I think it's just a comet from outer space. I don't think there's really much to it. Let's see here. Let's see. It's definitely gonna be a rain dumper. Oh yeah. That's actually like the main concern with that system. So let's hop into models. We're gonna take a peek at some of these models here. We'll get down to the nitty gritty here. I don't think anybody says that, but we'll go ahead and get down to it. Let's see, HWRF. We'll look at some of the hurricane models here first. 18 Zulu is rendering, so we'll look at the 12 UTC from earlier. So here we go. So this is the HWRF. It has a system, picking up strength over the next few days. Has it slowing down quite a bit. Wow, look at that. So I will mention HWRF is kind of sometimes known to be one of the more aggressive models. So just want to point that out there. But pressure really drops. I mean, it gets down into the 970s, 960s. And it has it kind of making landfall near Haiti and maybe near Dominican Republic here, right on the border. You can kind of see. So this is southern Haiti right here. Here's Dominican Republic. Here's the border. So, yeah. So that's a little bit concerning. And then, of course, after that, it has the system, weakening quite a bit because, it interacts with the mountains. There's a lot of terrain up there. Believe it or not, these islands are very mountainous. Which, allows the system its lower level wind field to be heavily disrupted. So that'll allow for the system to weaken quite a bit as it kind of heads towards the Bahamas here. But HWRF has it picking up strength again, possibly, as it pulls away. So, there's a lot of unknowns there. And that goes out to 126 hours. So, I mean, it's reasonable, but I wouldn't trust it too much. And the reason why is because it's moving so slow. So, anyways. So that's HWRF here. Let me actually pull up the infrared. I'm curious if it has it developing an eye. No, not really. But yeah, you can see, all that convection just going to be heavy over these areas here. So we'll have to see. This one kind of has it going a little further east. Now we're going to move into the HMON. Let's see here. HMON, we'll hop back down to the 12 UTC like we did the other one. Whoa, dude. Okay. So HMON's a little bit more aggressive, as you can kind of tell. So it has it squeezing right between Jamaica and Haiti. This is Cuba. Look at that. It has that system squeezing between, rapidly picking up some strength over the next little bit. Wow. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That gets down into the mid 950s. Honestly, HMO is more significant, more aggressive than the HWRF here. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's pushing. That's pushing probably Cat 2, maybe Cat 3. Looks like maximum winds are 101 knots. So I think that's Cat 2. I think that's right between Cat 2, Cat 3. So yeah, definitely something we need to look out for. Yeah, that one has it going further west. We have the HAFSA, 12 UTC. System rapidly strengthens quite a bit. Yeah, it doesn't go far enough. Actually, it has the system a lot slower than some of these other models here. But still has it eventually picking up quite a bit. HAFSB. Let's see here. That's interesting. Yeah, HAFSB has it becoming quite a small system. What is that, north? It's hard for me to tell. Oh, yeah, that's north. That's weird. Yeah, nice. HFSB is a little bit iffy. I'm not sure if I really trust that run too well. Then you got GFS. Yeah, GFS still has the system picking up some strength. It has it making landfall like right there between Dominican Republic and Haiti. So, kind of the verdict is there's a lot of uncertainty still. And that's kind of a problem because it's really not that far out. I mean, this is only like a day and a half out. And there's still this much uncertainty. That's what makes it really concerning. So it's going to be driving a lot of rainfall wherever it ends up. I do need Jamaica, Dominican Republic, and Haiti to be on high alert. Honestly, it wouldn't hurt to start prepping, getting everything together. Because yeah, I mean, it could definitely be definitely could be quite a nasty storm here. Yeah, honestly, kind of worst case scenario would be like what HMON suggests. Actually has it pulling a little bit further west here, and just right between Jamaica and Haiti, there, south of Cuba. So, well, we'll see what happens here. Let's hop over back to we'll do Western Atlantic. Let's look at some of these other models, other globals like CMC. See, CMC has it going out right there next to Jamaica. Keeps going west. Oh wow, that's interesting. Then it has it picking up some strength here, and then going right over Cuba. Very interesting. Let's see. And then you have the GFS here. GFS has it completely different. Has it going right over Dominican Republic, Haiti, then pulling out and re-strengthening. But it seems like a lot of the models really want this thing to re-strengthen. Let's see, Euro. The ECMWF here, European. Give it a second to load. Has it going right over Jamaica. Just kind of stalling and then pulling northeast here. So the good news is that, the system's likely not going to hit the United States directly. Anyways. What's up, Raven? Good to see ya. Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing good. Here, let's hop over to Icon here. See what Icon shows. Yeah, I mean, you can just see how different everything is. All right, Icon has it going right between, right there, just south of Haiti. Not really developing it much, and then just has the low going northwest. Yeah, Icon really doesn't have much out of it, but literally every other model here. Let's see if we have any of the hurricane models we can pull up here. We should. Here we go. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen this much disagreement in such a short period of time. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have not seen, this close to impact a system have so much disagreement. But I mean, you can definitely see, all the way. Got some models going west, some models going east, so big question mark here. Here's GEPS here, having the system still all over the place, but most of the ensembles do have this thing eventually kind of catching and then going out to sea. So that would be, I mean, that would be good for the U.S., but that could be a problem for folks out there by like the Bahamas and whatnot down in time. So really just a lot of the Caribbean really needs to watch this pretty closely here. What's up, Chris? Good to see you, my friend. Kath says, what is this, Drew? So this is Tropical Storm Melissa, future Hurricane Melissa. There is a lot of uncertainty with it in terms of where it's going to go, but there's no wind shear acting against the storm to really disrupt its structure. The waters are warm enough. There's a lot of moisture. It has everything it needs to really pick off. So a little bit concerned. Anyways, let's see. Emmanuel says, looks like it's making that northeast turn on satellite already. Here, let me bring up sat. We'll take a peek at it and see what we got going on there. Let's see, do I even have... Okay, here we go. Let's pull it up here. It'll take a second to load. Here we go. I don't see where you're seeing that. I still see it moving west. The center is right in here, I believe. Yeah, you can see where it's rotating there. That's where the center's at. All the convection is pretty much on the east side. The convection is moving north because of its counterclockwise rotation. So the convection is going to move, but you got to keep an eye on the center. So, yeah. Anyways, still is pretty disorganized. I mean, it is a tropical storm now, of course, but it's not the best looking. I've seen a lot better. Let's see here. Is Melissa going to make landfall? Yeah, I mean, it'll likely make landfall somewhere in the Caribbean. It's just there's a lot of questions on where. Not sure how strong. I mean, this thing could end a hurricane. It just depends on how long it sits out in the water. The longer it sits out there, the further it is away from the land, and it has more time to pick up some strength. So, you don't think this one is going to make it out of the Caribbean hurricane season? A dud, thank goodness. And I wouldn't say that completely. There's a good amount of support that has this thing pulling out of the Caribbean and, possibly going out there near the Bahamas. Also, we still got about another month of hurricane season, a little more. So you never know. It just takes one storm to make it a crazy year. What's up, Lisa? Good to see you. What's up, Hamiltons? What's up, Samuel? Let's see here. Zachary says, looks like after the storm is gone, the tropics might get quieter, according to tropical outlooks. Hopefully that is. Yeah, I hope so. But we'll see. Still can't let our guards down, though, y'all. I mean, it still is hurricane season, and it still will be until late November. So we still got a little bit of time. I mean, we have had storms happen, in November and whatnot. I was even in a tropical storm. It was actually a hurricane. It was Hurricane Nicole. This was, I think, 3 years ago. Impacted western Florida as a Cat 1, and that was in November, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it just shows you that there can still be some late storms. It's just pretty random. What's up, Explorer? Good to see ya. Zachary says, I literally just read that. Whoops. Kath says, won't affect the U.S. then. I mean, it shouldn't. I mean, at least the guidance we have now doesn't support it being a big concern for the states. But yet again, I mean, there's a lot that's not known with the storm, because you do have some models that has the system, kind of going west, and you got a lot of the models that have it going kind of this way. Some of the models have it kind of going this way. It slows down. It's moving so slow, and that's why it's so hard to predict, is because nothing really steering it. It's just kind of sitting there. And that makes it a big problem because it just dumps rain, rain after rain, across these regions here. So here, let's pull up the MDR. Should bring up the sat view. There you go. Here, I'll go ahead and play this so you guys can see it too. Yeah, it's not even really a... Let's see here. Cass says, okay, got it. I got on late. Thanks for, yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, let us know. We're here for y'all. Yeah, I just really need my folks out there by like, you know, Haiti, Dominican Republic. I mean, you guys definitely need to watch this really closely. It would definitely not hurt to start watching this, and you know, just keep a close eye on it, because I mean, this thing could be a really big problem for some areas here. And like I said, I mean, we already have watches in effect here from the Hurricane Center. Here, I'll go ahead and zoom in again for you guys. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Misty? Here you go. Yep, so the pink here, these are those hurricane watches that we have in effect out there. So that's for southern Haiti. And then, of course, we have Jamaica here that's, you know, in the yellow. So that's tropical storm watches for Jamaica, hurricane watches for southern Haiti. And so, like I mentioned, the watches mean, you know, well, we'll start with the hurricane watch. So the pink area means that hurricane conditions are possible in the near future. Just monitor the weather, start preparing. That way, you know, you make sure that you have enough items, you know, food, water, whatever. Make sure you have all that stuff together. The yellow is a tropical storm watch, which means tropical storm conditions are possible. Okay. So it's just, yeah, just make sure you guys are prepping, getting ready for it if you're out there. Misty says, will it make it to Florida? It's heavily unlikely as of right now. There is not really any support that has it going out to Florida because, you know, it's just slow moving. Eventually, there's a frontal system that kind of pushes off the U.S., which eventually could steer the system to the northeast. But that's going to be a while. But there's no guidance right now suggesting that this is going to be a problem for Florida. Kim says, will Orlando get hit? Same thing. I mean, it's just there's no guidance right now suggesting that this thing is going to be an issue for Florida. And even if it was, which it's heavily unlikely because we're going to have that current or that frontal system roll through, which will kind of hopefully knock it out away from the U.S., which more than likely it will. But that's extended range. I mean, you know, you can see just how little distance it moves over a period of time. Between now and Saturday, I mean, look how much it moves. I mean, it moves, what is that, like a couple hundred miles? I mean, it's really not that far. It really doesn't move that far in a couple of days. It's just very slow moving. You know, no winds acting against the storm to really push it around anywhere either. Like no steering currents going on here. I mean, it's just very, very slow, which, you know, will be an issue. You think it'll become a tropical storm in the morning? Well, it's already a tropical storm. Yeah, it's already a tropical storm. You can see Tropical Storm Melissa. Advisory 2. Yeah, it became one earlier. Sustained winds right now are 50 miles an hour, moving west at 15. So it's not moving super slow right now, but it will definitely slow down. But anyways, but yeah, I just wanted to let y'all know. In that yellow area that you guys see, that's where those estimated tropical storm force winds are located right now. So that's where the estimated winds are at. And you can see that's just, you know, north of, I believe, Venezuela, right? So yeah, so right now it's just out in the water, but eventually will creep its way over here to the north over the next little bit. What's up, CHC? Good to see you, my friend. But yeah, here's the rainfall again. You know, huge problems with rainfall. I mean, already we do have a little bit of uncertainty because, you know, that's what the netted area means here. You can see. That is the lower confidence margin that the Hurricane Center has. You know, because of the track, the strength, the size, I mean, all of the uncertainties with it. It's just so all over the place right now. But, you know, there's kind of a peak of what we could be seeing rainfall-wise. I mean, you can see, like, Dominican Republic here. You know, that little orange area, that's equivalent to 8 to 12 inches of rain or 200 to 300 millimeters. So, yeah, definitely quite a bit of rain. And, of course, the yellow areas, that's pretty much... sorry, I read that wrong. Never mind, I didn't. I don't know. I'm losing my mind. The lighter orange here, this is 6 to 8 here. Does this remind me of Hurricane Matthew? Honestly, I don't really remember Matthew's track. I remember Matthew, but I'm not good at remembering storms and what they've done, unless they're like super significant or I've been heavily affected by them. Yeah, I'm not the best. That's one of the weaknesses I have, is remembering past events. So, let's see. That's just going to stall at how slow it's moving. Well, yeah, I mean, it is expected to slow down a lot. It's not going to be moving very fast. And, that just makes it a bit more of an issue. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see here. I could look it up. Yeah, I could. But you also got to remember, during Matthew, the other conditions in the environment were not the same. Never is there 100%, the exact same things in place. You know what I'm saying? Positions of other high and low pressure systems were not, what's the word for it? They weren't really, they're not the same as they are in this scenario. Does that make sense? So you can't just immediately look at a track and be like, oh yeah, that looks similar, but it doesn't mean it'll do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a big misconception that some people have. But anyways. Where's spaghetti models going? Everywhere. All over the plate. Look. Here's the spaghetti models. You can see there. I mean, they're everywhere, dude. They're everywhere, because of how slow the storm's moving, how much uncertainty there is. I mean, literally, you have some of the models going to the west, some models going to the northwest, some models going to the east. I mean, it is all over. I mean, even in the next 24 hours, you can just see, I mean, in the short term, I mean, this is one day, you can see that they're still very much spread out. So, it's really, really difficult to see where it's going. But, like I said, we do have hurricane watches in effect for southern Haiti. Tropical storm watches in effect for Jamaica. Don't be surprised if the forecast significantly changes, because of how much uncertainty that we do have. What's up, Chris? Good to see ya. What's up, Scott? Saying hi, Andrew, and everyone else. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. But yeah, so let's look at the intensity. We actually have not looked at that yet. So honestly, yeah, here's where the so this is still the spaghetti models, but this is what they talk about in terms of the intensity, right? So obviously all models have the system becoming a tropical storm, because it already is, right? It's already a tropical storm, sustained winds of 50 miles an hour, central low down to 1,003 millibars currently. Now, whenever it comes to it, we work our way down in time. You can see that majority of models keep it within tropical storm within the next few days, but there is some strengthening kind of in the mid to long term here. It looks like a lot of models eventually have the system picking up. I believe this is after the fact that the system rolls through the Caribbean islands. I think this is possibly when it kind of worked its way back out into the Atlantic potentially. But once again, I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty. Track and stuff like that is very important. For also determining the strength and everything like that. So, Monster, thanks for the floating heart. I don't even know what that is, but I appreciate it. Really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much for the support. Let's see here. Could this become our third Category 5 of the season? So, going off of things right now, there's no guidance suggesting this thing will be a Cat 5, okay? That is unknown right now. I mean, I have seen events where systems, rapidly explode in development, and I honestly do believe that this system could be quite a strong storm. I wouldn't even be surprised if this thing had a shot at a major hurricane at some point. The reason I say that, and to back up my claim here, and the reason I'm saying that is because, first of all, how warm those sea surface temperatures are out there. The water is very warm. There's a lot of heat in that water. And that heat is going to be absorbed into the storm, and that'll be used for partial fuel. Second of all, I mean, the waters are really warm. So second of all, there's no steering currents really, indicating there's really no wind shear, going to be really acting against the storm to kind of destabilize it or allow it to significantly weaken. That's another thing. And of course, moisture-wise, I mean, there is quite a bit of moisture here. First of all, let me actually show you guys those sea surface temperatures. But yeah, those are really the three main ingredients you need. I mean, yeah, look how warm these waters are out here. They are ridiculously, we're talking 30 degrees Celsius waters out there. That's like 86 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere right around 86, 87 degrees Fahrenheit. Which is very warm. And, you know, since it's late season, a lot of that warmth has seeped down pretty deep underwater. So there's a lot of really warm water, not just on the surface, but also, you know, deeper underwater as well. So that's good because that'll allow for the system to absorb a lot of heat. So that's one of the reasons why. Obviously, the system, I mean, you can just tell by the track that it's going to be very slow moving, considering how many points it moves. In a short period of time, or sorry, in a long period of time. Here, let me actually zoom out a little bit here for you guys. Yeah, I mean, literally over the next few days, I mean, this is where it's at now. You can see right here. So this is where it's at right now. On today is what, Tuesday? And you can see where it becomes on the 25th, which I think, what day is the 25th? 25th is on a Saturday. Okay. So between now and Saturday, it only moves that distance. For example, that's only about half of the state of Florida. So, I mean, you can really see how slow it is. So there's really not any winds that's going to be heavily acting against the storm to allow it to, you know, weaken or anything like that. So wind shear doesn't seem to be an issue. You know, there's plenty enough amounts of warmth from the waters. We'll even look at the moisture levels here now. Actually, let's take a peek at some of the humidity. We'll pull up GFS for this. We'll do our upper dynamics. We'll do, oh wait, hold on. Sorry, precip moisture, 700 to 300 millibar moisture here, humidity. So this is basically a big chunk of the atmosphere from low to mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. You can see the brown indicating a lot of dry air, the bluish green indicating a lot of moisture. I mean, look at that. There is plenty enough moisture. We have a lot of moisture. We have a lot of really warm waters, and we have no wind shear. That is why the system is likely going to explode into something pretty big. So do not be surprised if the system picks up strength all of a sudden. You know, there is some storms that have undergone rapid intensification episodes. I don't think this is any exception. I don't. And I really think that this storm, I mean, if any of them we've tracked this year, I really think that this storm here is going to possibly rapidly intensify into something big. And if it does, this could be a really big problem. I mean, it's already kind of a really, really big problem for, you know, Jamaica, Haiti. I mean, we already have those watches out, hurricane and tropical storm watches. Hurricane watches for Jamaica. Hurricane watches for southern Haiti, tropical storm watches for Jamaica. You know, so watch is already out, and just don't be surprised if some of that stuff, you know, picks up a bit. But that's that. So definitely, you know, you guys just please be careful. You know, if you can, make sure you go ahead and get some water, get some food, make sure it's non-perishable because they expect the power outage to happen. With the amount of rain that we're going to be getting is really going to loosen up the ground, and then the winds will knock those trees over like twigs. So you got to prepare for it. You know, because once again, I mean, hopping back over the Hurricane Center, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty based off of the unknown factor of the track and, you know, the size, intensity, whatever. You know, there's going to be a lot of rain out here potentially. You can see the lower confidence in the netted areas, you know, over Haiti and Dominican Republic. But you can see some of these totals. I mean, out there in, you know, the southern Dominican Republic, WPC, Weather Prediction Center has this little area of 8 to 12 inches possible. And don't forget that there's probably going to be some locally higher amounts as well. But yeah, so that's that. Janice says, hi, Andrew. Take care. You as well, my friend. Dan says, I'm in Washington State, but I wanted to let you know you give great information. Well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate that, dude. Just trying to help out as much as possible. Yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize how much of a big concern this is. You know, yeah, it's pretty weak right now, but given the environment that it's heading into, that it's kind of in, it has potential, and that's what I'm kind of worried about. And you know, the fact is that this one is really difficult to forecast because it's, you know, there's little to no steering currents, which is, you know, telling us an obvious direction it's going. There's little movement with this storm, so there's a lot of unknowns. Models are all over the place. And, with a slow moving system, you got a huge problem with rainfall, in terms of, the storm sitting over a long area, the storm sitting over an area for a long period of time allows for rapid accumulation of rainfall, especially given, how heavy those precipitation rates can be sometimes in tropical cyclones. Definitely is a problem. But anyways, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. Missy says, is there a chance of the storm system next week or Monday maybe coming severe weather? Wait, hold on. What? Is there a chance for a big storm system next week on Monday? Maybe severe weather coming back. So I'm actually glad you mentioned that. Here, let me bring up the models again real quickly. So actually, I've been watching that system. There is possibly, there's not a whole lot that can be said about it right now. You can kind of see this low developing here. This is the latest GFS. We have this low that develops right around the 25th, which is 4 days from now. So a little low there. I mean, maybe could do something. We'll have to see what happens. Depends on how much moisture it ejects, how much instability there is and everything like that. And then maybe even another system right around the 28th, but that's kind of pushing it. Anything further than that, I don't like to look at. But we'll see what happens. I don't think SPC has anything on it, though, right now. And if they do, obviously, we'll let you know. Here, let me look at it. Yeah, SPC didn't have anything in the extended range. Only only for Tuesday and Thursday. Let's see. Thursday, we got a little risk up by Texas and Oklahoma. Also in New Mexico. Little level 1, nothing big. Nothing super concerning, no outbreaks or anything like that as of now. And then today we have that little kind of cold core setup over by Ohio. Dew points are like in the 30s out there, very elevated. We got those low dew points, low instability, high wind shear environment. But yeah, there has been a little bit of severe weather out there, mostly just gusty winds and stuff like that. But anyways, Dan says, how do these little island countries survive when they're always in the bullseye? It hits them pretty hard. It really does. The tropics, yes, it's beautiful, but it can also be very ferocious. In which, yeah, I mean, it's dangerous living out in those places. But, I will say this, though. I mean, some of these buildings down here are built a little bit better. They're built with hurricanes in mind. They're built with those in mind when they're building these places, because they're so frequent. So buildings are a little stronger, which helps, but it's never 100% hurricane proof, right? But yeah, no, it definitely hurts. It definitely hurts. I mean, it's never a clean sweep. Let's see here. Ken says, our tornado. I don't know what you mean by our tornado. If you're asking about that event that we were looking at, like for tornado threat or anything like that, it's too early to tell. There's so much uncertainty with it. But anyways, yeah, like I said, guys, if you're just tuning in, first of all, welcome. It's good to have you. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. It'll be greatly appreciated. Maybe consider sharing this with a friend or a family member as well, just to, help spread the awareness. Just to help get the word out there. I mean, it could really help out. So if you guys could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't really known right now. So we'll just have to see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of things that can change between now and then. But what we do know now is that we do have watches in effect. Once again, whoops. Y'all like my Windows 7? Yeah, this is actually my older computer I have. I guess I'll go ahead and show you guys real quickly. Here, let me minimize some of these real fast. Oh my gosh, I have so many tabs open. look how old this thing is. Windows 7 was such a good operating system. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, one of the big problems, we were talking about is the movement of the storm, because it's slowing down so much. It makes it to where there's a lot more uncertainty because there's, not a lot of, the models don't do very well when a storm moves very slow. Let's just put it at that. With a slow moving storm, even a gust of wind could knock the storm off in a different direction. It's so hard to predict these systems that are like this, which is pretty quick. Monster says, I saw a severe thunderstorm warning, West Virginia, with a tornado possible tag. Really? Yeah, I know we had some storms out there. Here, let me bring up my radar. Looks like they've weakened in Ohio. But yeah, up here in West Virginia, we got one that's got a little bit of hail reported on it. Hold on, let's pause that for a minute. The bad thing about West Virginia is it's not good with radar. The entire state only has one radar, and that's down in Charleston. Yeah, West Virginia is just not really the optimal place for radar, also because of the mountain ranges. But, you know, if you put those on the peak of the mountains, that's good. Yeah, if you put it any lower, if you put them in a valley, there'll be a lot of clutter, a lot of radar holes too. But yeah, no, we do got a storm up here. It looks like it's produced some pretty decent hail, 1 to 1.25 inches in diameter here. Let's see. This is warned for $50 hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts reported by trained weather spotters. It does have that tornado possible tag here. But whatever scans we're getting is heavily elevated right now. Yeah, I mean, this right here, I mean, could be some rotation, but this is also 9,600 feet up. So this is almost 10,000 feet aloft. This is pretty high up. Anyways, It Couldn't Beam says, hi, Andrew. Am I worried about the hurricane coming to Florida? No, I'm not worried about it. There is currently no guidance suggesting this system becoming anywhere near the United States in general. Matter of fact, there's actually a bit of support suggesting that there could be this frontal system. Here, I'll go ahead and show you guys. There could be this frontal system that could actually kind of protect the United States here. You know, this area of high pressure could act as like a shield, basically. You can see, you know, just acting like a big shield, kind of pushing that storm away from the United States. So that could be good. But no, I'm not worried about it, honestly. I mean, yes, there's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, theoretically, no, it's not impossible for it to go a little further west, but, you know, that's just with the uncertainty that we have. You know, there's just not really much the same. But there's also no support, really, of the system coming anywhere near Florida, okay? So, yeah, I'm not really worried about it right now, for us anyways. But for, you know, the Caribbean, yeah, I'm a little concerned for you guys, I ain't gonna lie. You know, my folks out there in Jamaica, you know, out there in Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, you know, I'm a little bit concerned for you folks. Even actually the Bahamas too, you know, could be a little bit of an issue here overall. Here's the GEPS. You can see some models, you know, have the system, or actually most models here, eventually have that system just steering upwards, possibly over the, you know, over the Bahamas there. That's what I'm saying. I'm a little concerned for maybe the Bahamas too. So, I mean, there is a pretty good amount, you know, there is a pretty good amount of support there. Here, let me try the the GEFS here. You can see, yeah, GEFS also has all those like east. This is mostly just a concern for my my friends out here in the Caribbean. So, like I mentioned, the Bahamas, specifically more the central southern Bahamas, you know, southern side of Haiti. I mean, really all of Haiti, honestly. Same thing with the Dominican Republic, eastern Cuba, Jamaica. Those are the main areas I'm concerned about. And, you know, like I said, we already do have some watches in effect here. Here, let me bring that up for you guys. But yeah, we already do have some watches in effect out here. If I zoom on in, I don't know if it's going to show up. Hold on, let me actually just do this. We'll do, here we go, watches, warnings, and surface winds. It'll take a second to load. There we go. Yeah, perfect. So that's actually a good representation. So you can see, you know, southern Haiti there with the pink. That is hurricane watches. And then, of course, you have the yellow here for Jamaica, which is tropical storm watches. Now, once again, like I said, tropical storm watches mean tropical storm conditions are possible in the near future. You should start preparing for them and just heavily monitor the weather. Same thing for hurricane watches, only hurricane. It means hurricane conditions possible continue to watch the weather and monitor and prepare for the system. You know, it's good to prepare even with the watches. I mean, worst case scenario, I mean, say you prepare for the system and say it steers last minute, and given a complex system like this, I mean, it's not impossible. But like, say you really go all out and prepare for the system, and say it becomes not as big of a problem for your specific area. It's better to be over prepared than under prepared. That is very, very important. So regardless, we do need you to be prepared. So yeah, and like I said, I'll continue to give you guys updates on everything. You know, we'll go live and stuff. I might even go live again this evening. I'm gonna try to go live again, probably right around. Let's see here. I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna try to go live right around 11 o'clock because we'll have a new update then. So let's see. Don't panic unless the Hurricane Center says otherwise. Well, the Hurricane Center's never gonna say panic. But yeah, no, I understand. You know, don't be scared. Just be prepared. You know, just make sure right now, what you guys need to do if you're in those watches in those areas here, you know, once again, Haiti, southern Haiti, Jamaica, start preparing. You know, just get some bottled water if possible, get some non-perishable foods. You know, make sure your cars are filled with gas, generators too. Make sure they have new, you know, your generators are good and up to running, you know, good up to maintenance and stuff. Make sure it has clean gas. Wouldn't hurt to see if the oil's good, you know, change that if it needs it. But yeah, definitely, we'll definitely keep an eye out there for it. And, you know, like I said, you guys know, if you've been around here for a while, you guys know we'll keep you updated. So, we'll definitely be here for y'all. Now, like I mentioned, we'll be live later on this evening. It is now 8 p.m. So we're probably going to roll off here soon. But we'll head back on live here in about 3 hours from now. A little bit less than 3 hours from now, that we can give you guys a new update here, because Hurricane Center updates at 11 o'clock. So we'll probably do a stream maybe from 11 to 12. So we'll be here to help you guys out. But anyways, folks, well, if you guys have any other questions before I roll off, let me know. Let's see here. Taco says, is it possible that this could stall for 2 weeks and drop 100 inches of rain now? Now, like I mentioned, there is a pretty good amount of support that eventually, with that high pressure ridge working its way off the southeastern United States, could kind of nudge the system and push it along, kind of out to sea. Which, you know, as of right now, that's pretty likely. But yeah, definitely not going to stall, I don't think, for 2 weeks and drop that amount. But, you know, like I mentioned, I mean, it is going to be stalling, and it's going to be dropping, you know, several inches regardless. I mean, there's going to be a massive flooding threat with this here. I mean, you know, WPC, there is still a lot of uncertainty with it, but I mean, some of these areas here, that dark orange area in southern Dominican Republic, I mean, that's already 8 to 12 inches. Remember, even locally higher amounts are possible too. This is just general, you know, rainfall accumulation. You're welcome, Sonia. No problem. No problem at all. But anyways, everybody, well, going once, going twice. If y'all have any questions, let me know. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I'm not going to hold you to it, but just consider it. Maybe leave a like. It'll be greatly appreciated. And, you know, you guys can really help us by sharing this, you know, to your friends, your family, coworkers, whoever, just to help spread the awareness and just to keep people safe. But anyways, let's see here. I'm in Kingston, Jamaica. Be specific when you resume later. Okay. Well, this is just Jamaica in general is under the tropical storm watch. So, Barbara, I do need you to keep an eye on it. I mean, obviously, I would start preparing if I were you. You can see, I mean, literally the entire side is yellow. I mean, yeah, here's Kingston. Yeah, specifically, definitely you. You're in that tropical storm watch, which means, you know, tropical storm conditions possible. So watch out for that. And you can see the system does get pretty close. You know, the circle or the cone, you can see it's a circle in this case, is pretty large. And, you know, because of its slow movement, its uncertainty, I mean, it could go really anywhere in here. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. Barbara says quite nervous. Yeah, don't. And it is a little nerve-wracking, but you'll be all right. You'll get through this, Barbara. Just, you know, earlier the better. Just start preparing for it now if you could. You know, just make sure you have enough non-perishable foods. Make sure you have, you know, some water, stuff like that. That'll last you a couple weeks. So, you know, just make sure you have all that stuff. And, you know, we'll continue to give you updates, and we'll even be live again today at 11 p.m. I don't know what time it's for you. I think you guys are on the same time zone as me. It's 8:04 p.m. right now, and we'll go live at 11 p.m. Eastern. So we'll come back. We'll be live here for you guys. But alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you for joining. You guys take care. Y'all, please be careful out there. We'll keep you guys up to date, and we'll give you guys another update here in a couple of hours. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys here in a little bit. All right. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.